Good morning. Welcome to Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. We've got a show that's just going to rock today. I'm sitting here with Katie. She's our beekeeper. I want to cover a couple things right off the bat. If you want to be on the show, if you want to be in the audience, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, there's several bee things you can do. If you want to be on the show, if you want to be in the audience, just contact us, send us a message. It's free to be in the audience. It's free to be on the show. Now, if you want to be a sponsor, we've got different levels of sponsorship that start off at $50. And with a $50 sponsorship, you get a special commercial every month. All right, Katie, let's go with the bees. Right. Rock on.
Let's get buzzing.
I love, because we got a great buzz going on in the studio today.
Always.
Now, you are a beekeeper, and
Yes.
I just love the bees.
I do too.
Because they are major pollinators.
Yes.
And they are cool. Now, one thing I do like about bees is the honey that they produce. Now, the honey, I like a local honey because I've got a lot of allergies and stuff like that. And local honey, now, the bees get it from around our area, and for me, that it seems to help.
It is. It is like a natural allergy shot. You can take up to a tablespoon of natural local honey, and it does a natural allergy shot.
Cool. Now, this is one of those things where you don't have to just take it. You know, it's good to take it because we've got several products out that are CBD infused and THC infused with honey, and they do work for me. I like those.
Oh yeah, you can really take it in any form of ways. You can take it in your drinks. You can take it just out of. There's little. They're called stalls, and it's just a little packet that contains about a tablespoon of honey, and you can just take that.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Or just dump it in your coffee.
Yeah, it's the best sweetener if you're diabetic or like me. I'm not really supposed to have any fake sugars.
Right.
So honey is the best way to get that natural sweetener without having to worry about that.
Well, no, that's great.
Stuff.
Now, it's one of those deals for a lot of cancer patients. You know, they tell them to do without sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, could they have honey?
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I am a sweet person. I like, my pie and different stuff like that.
Yes, me too. Actually, I went to school for pastry just because I love sweets.
Because it is hard to get a good piece of pie. You know what I mean?
I know.
I can't go out and stuff. People start making pies again. Because we do, in the industry, we've got a lot of brownies and stuff like that. But I like pies, cakes. I did have one deal that was. We're getting off the subject, but I did have one deal. It was a pound cake.
Oh,
and
yummy.
That was really good.
Yeah. I'll make you some.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, that would be a great show. Now, are you the person that goes out and harvests the honey?
Yeah, I do all of it from start to finish.
Start to finish. Now, that is too cool. So you got the spindilies and.
Nope, I do it by hand.
Now, that is cool.
Yeah.
You do it the old school style way.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes. It's longer. I'll probably end up going to the faster way, but while I've just had 1 or 2 hives, it's really not worth spending the money for the equipment.
Right, I understand, yeah.
So I've really enjoyed doing it this way, though, because, I don't know, I feel like everything kind of starts, you learn that way.
You're kind of more at one with the bees.
Yeah.
Because you understand. I am really impressed with the way they make honey. Now, we were talking earlier about the queen bee, the drone bees, and the guys.
No, the guys are the drones.
Oh, the guys are the drones. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, what can we say?
Yes.
That's our job, I just run along.
Yes, their sole purpose is to go out and mate with a queen.
Cool. My kind of job. Now, they do go out and pollinate, too. So
No.
They do not pollinate.
No, that is...
Their job is just to find a girl and mate.
Find a queen.
Oh, you got to find a queen.
It has to
naturally.
be a queen. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That is their
So
one and only purpose.
So it comes back to, again, the females are the ones that are taking care of us because they're the ones going out and pollinate, spreading the pollination.
Yep.
Now, that is cool.
Yep. The drones are bigger than the worker bees and typically like rounder and fuzzier. So that's how you tell
Fat
the
bottom
difference
girls
there.
make the world go round.
Right.
That's cool. That's cool. I love it.
Yes.
So, okay, now, whenever they go out and pollinate, have you ever seen them on cannabis plants?
I haven't actually been around that many cannabis plants. I really haven't. I go through grows sometimes,
Yeah.
but they're typically indoor grows.
Indoor grows, and they
Yeah.
don't have the bees there.
Right.
Right.
So that's not something I've actually seen for myself. But I know that there are lots of studies, and actually more recently in the last probably 2 or 3 years, they were saying that bees were not attracted to cannabis plants, but they do wonders for hemp.
Okay.
But now they're starting to find that bees are attracted to cannabis plants, but as people think that it would make like THC honey, that's not how that works
No,
at all. They don't,
because it's not hadn't been decarbed.
right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do anything for the honey, but it works wonders for pollination.
I think it would really, in my opinion, should really raise the terp level, because if they're going to some really good cannabis plants, getting all over them and stuff, because it's melting on our fingers and stuff, I think it would really up the terps. And
I can't say for sure on that.
that's
I mean, you would think like it's okay to speculate,
Yeah.
clearly, but there are a lot of studies still going on about that, because that's kind of a new territory.
Right.
So it would be nice to break into that kind of study myself.
It really would. And on that note right there, we're going to take a short break. You're watching Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I hope you toke up and tune back in.
Empire Genetics is an advanced research program set forth under the 2018 Oklahoma Industrial Hemp Pilot Program, overseen by Northwestern Oklahoma State University. A lot of farmers reach out to us. They've heard about what we're doing and are interested and want to know what they've had growing on their land since they were kids. Oklahoma is very diverse in its weather system, and so these plants have adapted over the last several hundred years to withstand that. A lot of it was brought here by the U.S. Department of the Interior back as part of Hemp for Victory. Hemp for Victory was brought about with the loom of the coming World War. We knew that we were going to have to produce a very large amount of hemp to rig the ships for their sailing, for their ropes, for their anchors, also clothing, sailors' hats, our flags, everything was made from hemp. Marijuana wasn't made illegal until 1969. The USCSA classed marijuana in with other dangerous narcotics such as heroin, cocaine, and methamphetamines. The campaign to slander cannabis began back in the 20s, mainly with William Randolph Hearst and the paper mills. Then that transgressed into big oil. Later in the 30s and 40s, really gained steam. By late 1937, the Congress passed the Marijuana Tax Act, which grouped industrial hemp in with marijuana. After that, they gave the differentiated names, hemp, marijuana. While farmers were still allowed to grow, taxes were raised so heavily that it made it difficult, especially for lower income farmers. In 1940, when Hemp for Victory came to Oklahoma, they actually used Oklahoma as a test plot. Several genetics were shipped in from all around the world to see what would grow best on American soil, since Oklahoma has such a diverse climate. And it's very hard to find a lot of documentation on that. We know there was a lot of places, obviously, that were involved, or we wouldn't be finding cannabis in every county in Oklahoma. Empire Genetics, sowing the seeds of the past to grow a better future for everyone. Visit us at hempiregenetics.com or on our social media pages at Empire Genetics.
Welcome back to Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I'm sitting here talking to Katie, and we are just rocking. We had a great conversation during the break, and we were talking about your sponsorships for your beehives.
Yes. There are multiple level tiers, both on-site and off-site, meaning I can keep them at my location that I have, or for more commercial sponsors, I can keep them at their location. I go put up the hives, I take care of them throughout the year, I harvest the honey, and you get a lot of perks.
And we were talking that you want to do some research in the cannabis pollination of the bees.
Yes, I do. It is such a new territory breaking into bees and cannabis, that there's really not a lot known about it. So we were, of course, going over a couple of theories that we may have, nothing we could really say, but we've been speculating all over the place. And I really want to break into this study of bees and cannabis and how one affects the other. Because it is such a new territory, and with the plant med and the bees, the pollinators of the earth, you cannot imagine that it would be anything bad.
I agree.
It would probably be the be all of all things.
Be all you can be, right?
Yes.
And another thing about honey I really do love, it has no preservatives in it.
No, and it will keep.
It will keep forever, right?
Yep.
Because they found honey in old ancient places and it's still good.
Yeah.
That is rock on. Now you're looking for sponsorships because you want to do some research on bees, just totally, how they pollinate and whatever they do, just how we spread the pollination.
Yes, I would like to do, my on-site sponsorships are a little bit different because they are on the property that I have. They will just get the local wildflower honey. That's what they will produce. And not much for studying purposes there. More of the commercial sponsorships. I want to get my hives into some cannabis fields.
Okay, we can hold this up here, and I can try to get it to where we can see all your sponsorship levels.
And you can go onto any of my social media, Instagram, Facebook, under Katie's Babies. That's BAEBEES. And you can find all the tiers of the sponsorships, how much they are. I've got payment plans available, gift certificates available.
No, that's cool. That'd be a great gift certificate, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Now, the sponsorships start off, $25 a year?
Yes, the lowest tier is Friend of the Bee. It's $25 for your first year and $20 for your ongoing, and that just puts your name and contact information on a piece of paper, and I will call you in the fall if there is any extra honey or products left over available to purchase.
Well,
you
that's
would get
cool.
First option.
And you go all the way up to a commercial sponsorship. Now, that's what we're looking for because we need, in my opinion, we need to do some of this research on, because bees, they've been losing bees, we've been seeing the bee loss.
Yes, the honeybee population is definitely dwindling, and if you don't know, you should know that without the bees, we don't have 75% of our crop. We really don't have anything if we don't have the honeybees. So my ultimate goal is I would like to set up several honeybee preservations throughout Oklahoma.
Cool.
To begin with, and I would love to start the research or start and continue study with bees and cannabis.
That would be cool because we were talking with Jeff Green earlier. That's a segment you're going to watch because our third segment we're going to make some old school style hats.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the different pollinations and how they would go to just the male plants rather than the females, and how the different terps are on the females and not the males, and it was really pretty cool.
Yeah, I see, and I don't even know much about that. So
that's what I love about the Canna family.
Yes.
We've got Canna family, and you just never know.
But we can all learn from each other, really.
There you go. Always
but
learning
yes,
from each other.
I definitely want to get my hives into some cannabis fields.
Into some groves, yeah, or close to some groves.
Yes, they will travel up to a 6-mile radius for what they need. So it doesn't have to be right next to it. But I am ultimately eager to not pursue. Sorry.
To be all you can be and
Yeah.
spread out to where all the bees can be.
Yeah, and I wanna know more about bees and cannabis, and I'm sure everybody wants to know more because everybody asks.
Right.
But there's just not a whole lot of information out there, so I want to be part of that.
And you're going to be spreading some more education. You're going to be at Harvest Fest.
Yes, I'll be at Harvest Fest this next weekend. I'm not going to have any honey there.
It's not
because,
harvest time.
No,
it's
not harvest time.
It's Harvest Fest, but it's not harvest time for honey.
Yes, not for the bees yet. But I will be there with some solid lotion bars and some candles and cool things made from beeswax.
I was going to say, are they going to be infused with honey or beeswax?
Yep, they will
Cool.
be. So it'll be.
But on that short note right there, we're going to take a short break. You want to come back because our next segment, we're going to make some old school style hash. You're
so
watching
excited.
Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. Hope you toke up and tune back in. Welcome back to Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I've got something going on here you're going to really like. I'm sitting here with my good friend Jeb Green and Katie, and we are going to make some old school style hash.
Yep. Yeah.
Right on, right on.
Ought to be pretty neat. Thanks for doing the show and having us on, and we can.
Oh yeah, this is a segment I'm gonna really, because we've been playing with this stuff during the breaks, and it's really, really cool.
Right. Yeah. So that's basically what we're looking here, and I'll just roll right into
Right
it.
on, do it to it, brother.
Try to get through just kind of a step process, so hopefully keep it fairly orderly and everything. So let's first take a
I
look
want to
at
show this right here.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
our
take it.
end product.
end product. So there you go, John.
Oh, look at that right there.
And you can pop that thing out of there.
Okay,
It's
pop
just
that puppy out of there.
That's
You
about
got
a half ounce right there.
About a half ounce of hash right there.
And this is just old school,
That's
this is
old
down and
school.
dirty
Now, this
before
is-
the advent of all of the awesome technology
take
that
the bite
allows,
like
Yeah.
super high quality stuff. This is just, this is what happens. Let's say, we got a lot of home grows going on,
Right.
and, they just might wind up with a big old pile. And so what, folks can do, especially with stuff that, it may have seed, it may have, imperfections from being outdoor and such, and you just got this big volume of biomass,
Right.
and you're like, holy crap, it grew, So what you can do is you can take and dry that stuff down and basically just shuck it off. You don't have to, get too much into trimming all of the sugar leaves and everything. Just leave it all intact, because what we're after are the trikes. We're
Right.
after the keef, as we call it. So anyway, so let's just say you got a pile. Well, the first thing that this whole process, cold material is good material. It's a lot like, baking and such. Yeah, and so the keef is really sticky, and the trick to being able to sift it out, a dry sift, is to keep it cold. Keep it as cold as possible, So anyway, there's the end product, like we
Now,
have.
Katie, can you show them? Now, this is all keef right here.
Right here.
This is what's so cool. We
at that.
are. Nah, I love that.
Yeah, it's just, and at room temperature, that's what it's going to do. And it makes it really hard to sift because it's gooey and it just wants to all stick together. So that material right there is what I call green keef. It's still got a little bit of green in it. And what you do is just a few things, couple of bucks at Walmart, something that's going to be important, some gloves in a minute. We're actually going to be doing the process inside of these random things. Again, a couple of bucks at Walmart. They are sheet protectors. And what it is that the keef doesn't stick to this type of plastic very
cool.
well.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be sticky. And if we just did it on a towel, that towel would be done. Tabletop would need alcohol, all sorts of stuff. So anyway, so that, and then these are actually sealed on a couple of sides, so a pair of scissors, cut it out, run it down the top, and you've got this part of the game ready. So we'll get these going.
Now, again, this is just making it in your kitchen, old school style, like we used to do back in the day. Right on.
Yeah. I mean, it's for really for anyone. Again, if some of these household pieces, you may have, and if you don't, again, $20 over at Walmart and you're in the game. So let's say that you have all this material that you've ground down. Well, what you want to do is stick that in a bag and stick it back in the freezer.
this.
Yeah, this is put it in the
That would be
blender
this
and
right
just
here.
blend it.
So this is actually the step before that. This would be
Okay.
like the whole plant comes out.
All right.
and you take in all that material, the shedders, whatever, you just grind all of that up, freeze it, and then grind it.
Okay.
And then you're going to have a pile. And it's going to be a pretty good grind. Just a food processor, cheap food processor will work. Even those little mini ones that you can get for like $10, those
$10,
totally, yeah, those work. So just grind that crap out of it into a powder. Seeds, whatever, it's all good. And we'll get full spectrum with it. So then that material you take and put through this kind of a strainer, which, strainer. So these are
High
typically
technology here.
high tech. Again, this was the big money item. This was $8.
Well,
This
there
is the
you
big
go.
money item. So what happens is you take that, you get a stainless steel bowl and dump that, and just sit there and kind of bounce it like that and swirl it around and give it a little wiggle back and forth, and you'll see it all sifting out. Kind of like a lot like flour. When it's cold, it'll do it real easy. It will do it warmer in this stage, that raw material, but you get that, and you'll wind up then with this.
That is so fun.
And so
time.
so this is like dry concentrate, I guess is what we're talking, dry concentration in
Okay.
terms. Instead of, this is a solventless way to concentrate. There's no BHO or anything like that. This is just grind it up. It's all physical. There's no chemical in this. It's very similar to bubble hash. You could actually take this material at this point if you wanted to wash it. Go ahead and ice water it out and get it filtered down.
And make bubble hash out
Yes,
of
and make bubble hash out of it from this point. But you can actually, running this step right here actually concentrates the material before going, so you'll actually increase your yields during the washout on bubble hash because you're doing this right here. If you were actually going to solvent extraction, same thing, because you removed any stem, any seed,
Right.
a lot of the extra leaf that doesn't break down in the blender, so you're concentrating this already now.
So then it goes from this to this.
Yeah,
basically.
so this right here, then goes into one of these, which is just a coffee filter.
Another cheap,
$2.
easy item to get. You
Yeah,
bet.
and so you fill up cold, and what you want to do is just fill it up about a quarter of the way. You can overload this, you can overload this, just do a little bit, and you'll find it'll kind of clear the chamber
Right.
quicker.
Yeah.
So let's say you just get like a baking sheet, glass is best, and you can sit there and just tap this with that material on there, kind of give it a little shake like that, so on and so forth. And it takes a little bit, but when you've got the material cold, you'd be surprised, having a card, sit there and get all that, powder off to the side over there, and you just kind of do that, and you'll see that you'll have some remnant green in there that's not really going through anymore, and then you can just put that over on the side, and that right there, you've obviously stripped potency out of it, but that's where that does real good for, say, making butter or making
okay.
cooking oil.
Cool.
You can take and grab that, so you can snag. That's probably like 5-6% material at that point. So again, it's good for cooking oil. You can take and kind of grab the rest of that, and then if
okay.
you're wanting to do like low dose edibles at home, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like any random brownie recipe, you make oil out of that, cooking oil out of that, and then all you have to do is just within the recipe that's on the box on anything, be it brownies, cake mix, you just dump that there. So
Cool.
anyway, that's that. Now,
And then we're up to this step right here.
so we're up to this right here.
Now this is a Keith. The texture of this, I just love it.
It's really cool. It's really cool. It's just kind of sticky here at room temperature, and this is where you do
Here,
want
we
it at
can-
room temperature to.
We can
Do
show
this.
that a little bit better here. Ping over here. Oh, there! Look at that!
Oh yeah, look
Look
at
at that! Isn't that pretty?
It's like kinetic sand.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty cool.
I love it. Yeah.
So we're going to be ready for some hot water here in a minute.
Ready for the water? 'Cause
Yep.
we're gonna put
Yep.
this in there and we're gonna roll it out.
All right. So what we do is we just take some of this, put it in here, and is this good and hot?
That's good and hot.
Oh yeah, that's warm. So remember, water boils at about 212 degrees, which is about the area of decarb. You won't really thoroughly decarb this at this point. What we do is we take, and you can see kind of the color on this material now. And so what we'll do here is we'll take and put this hot on here, and just kind of start to roll it a little bit. And what you can do is you're starting to warm this up. So I'll even take and just let it sit there
Right.
and start warming that up. And then like, other methods, more mechanical methods, you can start applying pressure to it as well. So
that's
I
an
can,
ash
this is
we-
where I lean in. This is where that brisket comes in handy, y'all. You know what I'm saying? When I need to get some center of gravity on something, here we go. Yeah. So let's see if we're getting anything out of it yet. All right. So let's see here. It's starting to stick together a little bit now, and we're starting to get a little darkness in there.
Right,
But
it will
this,
start changing colors.
yeah, but this really, it just depends. Again, this is not an exact science. You notice that there was no exact science going into this. Just fundamental, old school.
You bet.
That's right.
Let's
right.
try it this way, bud. I think it'll work.
Yeah. So anyway, again, this is where the brisket comes in handy, and let's just kind of keep pressing on it and keeping the heat to it.
Well, I like
Here a
this
little
because this is something somebody can do in their house.
Exactly. I mean, you see, we're just
No
here.
chemicals.
That's right.
Relatively quickly.
That's right. It's not a real hard thing. So let's see here. All right. See, we're starting to get a little bit of
Oh yeah,
color in there.
it's sticking together pretty good now.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take and I am going to I'm going to just kind of start to ball this up on itself and make it more of a little pile.
Right.
So now I've kind of got these flaky layers
So cool.
right there. We'll kind of pile that up, and now we'll just make another pass at it.
Oh, yeah, and the aroma now coming out of that.
Yeah, you can start to smell it now.
You can
huh?
start to smell it because you start to activate it.
Ooh, yeah.
That gets warm, doesn't it?
It does. It's a good way. It's the home way of saying, is it hot enough? Yeah, it's hot enough. So we'll just keep rolling at it. And what we may have to do here momentarily is actually warm the water up a little bit more. But as you can see,
Oh yeah, you can see
It's
the color
starting to-
change now. Yeah.
it's starting to come together. So again, this is where we just pile it up on itself. And what we're ultimately working towards here is basically a ball.
Yeah, and basically
So
this
it's-
color here too.
Mhm.
So you end up with
That.
That right there, cool.
And we may wind up having to work with this here for, a couple of minutes more.
Right.
So it's it's again
And it's just
an
one of those
applied
just
science,
what
not
you
an
got to
exact
do.
one. That's right. Get a good idea. I've typically found that it can take me, 5, 10, 15 minutes of messing with it. But
Cool.
as you see, it's starting to come together in just thicker and thicker parts.
All right, right on.
That's so
Well, that's
cool.
what
I love
how
that.
you make old school style hash with Jeb Green, and I'm sitting here talking with Katie too. You've been watching Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. That's what I always do is if you want to be a sponsor, supporter, or if you want to be in the audience of Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. It's free to be in the audience. We got sponsorship levels, all kinds of different sponsorships levels. I hope you toke up and tune in. We'll see you next time.
Later.
Too much sign in it, Percocet me sign to the bottoms on a water for my shepherds. Too much sign in it, Percocet me sign to the bottoms on a water for my shepherds.
Water whipping, water dripping. Broke the pack, mixed it with the midgets.